Settling the West, Chapter 4.
Boom towns. Henry Comstock was a prospector. Boom towns referred to a time of rapid economic growth. Vigilance committees, self-appointed volunteers who would track down and punish wrongdoers. Important facts. Boomtowns were not always big places. Every boomtown had to start out with little to no people. The only way they boomed into success was the rapid economic growth. Although they were rowdy places, thus law and order was enforced by vigilance committees. Summary. Quickly growing towns. 3 towns are rapidly successing into overpopulated cities, and the cities were violent places often dealt with thieves.
Perfect. Growth of the mining industries.
Mining leads to statehood mining and mining technology. Vocabulary. Hydraulic mining, methods of mining by which water is sprayed at a very high pressure against a hill or a mountain, washing away large quantities of dirt, gravel, and rock and exposed material beneath the surface. Important facts. Discovery of the gold in Colorado in 1858. North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana were admitted in 1889. Congress passed the law in 1893 allowing hydraulic mining after farmers were saved from ruining their crops. Summary. Mining created a lot of opportunities for the settlers like North and South Dakota and Montana. Hydraulic mining is a big hit, but also covered a lot of problems to the land that farmers started suing the mining companies.
Perfect. Ranching and cattle drive.
The long drive begins.
Oh.
Vocabulary. Open range, a vast area of grassland that the federal government owned. Long drive, driving cattle long distances to a railroad depot for fast transport and great profit. 3 important facts. The first drive, most of the cattle didn't make it, but those that survived sold for 10 times its price. Range wars broke out for land, and then the new invention of barbed wire to help shut out those competing with them for land. In the winter of 1886 to 1887, blizzards buried the plains in deep snow, and it was 40 below zero. Massive number of cattle died. Summary, the ranching business boomed during the time period of about 1865 to 1871. Then during the 1880s, many cattle died and many ranches became bankrupt. After this, the ranching business was different. There were no more open ranches.
Settling the Hispanic Southwest. Alright, so vocabulary is haciendas. They were huge ranches that covered thousands of acres. Barrios, neighborhoods that Hispanics settled in the southwest cities. Some important facts. Mexican immigrants worked in agriculture and on the railroads. California's population grew from 14,000 to 100,000 in 2 years. And New Mexicans called themselves Las Gordas Blancas, Whitecaps. So summary, basically the U.S. beat Mexico and took control of the land and slightly took advantage of the Mexicans and hustled them. The U.S. does that a lot.
Farming in the plains.
The beginning of settlements. 3 facts. The Homestead Act, you could pay $10 registration fee and a person could file for homestead. To obtain water, they had to drill 100 feet deep in the Great Plain. Vocabulary. Great Plains, a large area of flat land. Stephen Long was a major who explored the region with an army expedition in 1819. The Homestead Act was for $10 registration fee. One could file for homestead. Homestead is a tract of public land available for settlement. perspective is to be likely to perform an act.
Post-Civil War growth is in the Homestead Act.
The wheat belt. Okay, so some vocabulary. Dry farming was a way of farming dry land in which seeds are planted deep in the ground where there is some moisture. A sodbuster is a name given to the Great Plains farmers. A bonanza farm is a large, highly profitable wheat farm. And the wheat belt was a region beginning at the eastern edge of the Great Plains and took part of the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Kansas, where wheat is the chief agricultural product. 3 important facts. New technology such as the seed drills, reapers, and steam tractors made farming in the drought much more possible. A severe drought hit the plains in the 1800s. During this time, more competition was rising, which lowered the price of wheat, causing farmers to lose land they couldn't pay for. On April 22, 1889, that was the start of the Oakland Land Rush and the closing of the frontier. A summary. Farmers turned to growing wheat because of the dry ground. The farmers began moving to the Midwest for the new technology being invented.
Native Americans.
Struggle of no Plain Indians. Vocabulary. Nomads roam vast distances following their main food source, which was buffalo. In Nutridis, annual payment for government. Sand Creek Massacre. Since Cheyenne attacked settlers, including women and children, there will be no peace. Indian Peace Commission. Bureau of Indian Affairs would run the reservation of 2 large reservations, the Sioux and other Native Americans of the Southern Plains. The important facts. The Dakota Sioux Uprising, first major class, began in 1862 when the Dakota people launched a major uprising in Minnesota. The Sioux have agreed to live in a reservation to exchange for payments and initiatives. But things got worse as initiatives got caught up in democracy and corruption. This led to starvation and angry Sioux. Chief Little Crow asked for resources from a low trader. The trade responded with let them eat their own grass. So Chief killed the trader and filled his mouth with grass. Sand Creek. In 1860s, tension rise between miners and the Cheyenne. As the number of settlers increased, the attack on wagons and cattle rose also. Summary. Many groups of Native Americans had a home in the Great Plains. Ranchers, miners, and farmers came to the plains and wanted the natives to relocate. They refused to move to a new territory and attack anyone that came to the territory. The Sioux suffered poverty and starvation. They started a rebellion and started killing settlers. The Lakota lost the land they long protected from settlers. Native Americans started to surrender and wanted peace, but the Americans refused and also started murdering. The Indian Peace Commission's plan was doomed to fail.
The last Native American wars. George A. Custer, lieutenant colonel that attacked the Native American warriors. Chief Joseph, leader of the Nez Perce people. Assimilate, to be absorbed. Allotments, where families could become self-supporting. And Dawes Act, allotting to each head of the household 100 acres of land for farming. 3 important facts. In October 1877, Chief Joseph surrendered, and he and his followers were exiled to Oklahoma. On December 29, 1890, as troops tried to disarm the group of ghost dancers at Wounded Knee Creek, a deadly battle ensured taking the lives of 25 U.S. soldiers and 200 men, women, and children. And Congress passed the Dawes Act in 1887, preserving every family 100 acres of land and single people 80 acres. Summary: many prospectors are attacking Indians and trying to move them to reservations because they want their land and resources.